If Wangari Maathai met any of you today, what do you think she would challenge each of you on?
I feel with democracy it comes like, oh, you have rights, you know? you have rights.
But do you really have rights?
But do you really have them, you know? Yeah.
Over time, what has happened, and this is effects again, I'm always going to blame the colonizer for everything.
I have been a part of a few editions of Too Early for Birds. I am going to talk about the criticisms. Today, we're stepping into history through performance with a cast of Too Early for Birds, a production known for bringing Kenyan stories to life in ways that hit differently. This time, they're bringing the story of Wangari Maathai, not just as an icon, but as a woman, an activist, and a force of resistance. So, what does it take for actors to carry a story like that? Let's get into it. My name is Brian Ogola, and welcome to Cast on Cue. In studio today, we have the cast of Too Early for Birds, the Wangari Maathai edition, which is showing, or rather staging, later next month in April.
10th to 12th. Okay.
We'll get to that. To my immediate left, we have Akinyi Oluoch. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Akinyi is a Kenyan drama therapist, creative wellness specialist, and performer who is deeply passionate about the intersection of storytelling, healing, and community. Trained in drama therapy in Montreal and licensed as a psychologist in Kenya, she creates spaces rooted in care, embodiment, and authentic expression. She is also a young performer support specialist, supporting safer, more compassionate creative processes for children on set. As a performer, Akinyi brings warmth, depth, and emotional honesty to her stage work, earning Best Actress at the 2018 Sanaa Theatre Awards. Being her second Too Early for Birds production, she steps into Wangari Maathai with a deep sense of honor, courage, and immense respect.
Hey.
Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Next up, we have Red Brenda. Red Brenda is a Nairobi-based creative producer, storyteller, theater actor, and filmmaker with a passion for narratives rooted in African Renaissance. She believes stories are not just entertainment, they are tools for empathy, empowerment, and cultural restoration. Her work blends authenticity with cinematic craft, connecting audiences to the raw human textures of life. Known for Single Kiasi Season 2, Un-Adult-erated 2023, Njiva 2022, Hollow, Deviance, and Dry Patch. She's drawn to stories that question systems, challenge stereotypes, and gives voice to the people often left on the sidelines of the mainstream. Thank you so much for being here, Red.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Last but not least, we have Charles Ngamini Gashanja. He is a passionate 24-year-old actor based in Nairobi with over 6 years of experience in theater presence and emotional depth. His most notable performances include playing JM Karaoke in JM Karaoke, Father Michael in Shadows of the Cloth, which earned him a nomination in the Kenya Theatre Awards 2025, Martin in Bordering Discords, and Steve in Dead Men. Driven by a desire to stir emotions and move people through storytelling, Charles is on a journey not just to perform, but to build a lasting brand in the industry, one that inspires, provokes thought, and entertains. Asanteni sana for being here.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you so much. Let's start with Charles. Just say something. Maybe there's something we missed in your bio.
Well, I mean, you just had to put my age out there, but that's okay. Bro.
What's wrong? You're 24.
It's in there, but please, come on. There are people here who respect me, okay? There are people who fear me out here. But it's all right.
Let me tell you, there'll come a time when you will have more that has already passed you.
Okay.
than what's actually ahead of you. 24 is a perfect, amazing age.
Okay, fine,
Yeah.
cool. Now that that's out the way, I'm just happy to be here.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's cool. And let's do this.
Yeah, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
Thank
Red?
you. I can just mention the recent shows I've been on because I
please.
feel like, and I don't know if I'm the one who sent that. I'm the one. Anyway, my recent shows have been Stream, which I'm very grateful to have been part of.
That was amazing.
Awesome.
Beautiful experience shooting that. And then there's Tuki Songa.
Oh, yeah.
A very brilliant youth-driven show,
Yeah.
which I'm very proud of. So just those two shows. Kauja watch and watch. Thanks.
Awesome.
Yes.
Yeah.
Akinyi,
Um,
say something.
I say something.
Yeah.
Say something.
I'm giving up on you.
This guy that's
That's
from-
what happens when you invite theatre
Theatre.
kids.
I know.
Podcast.
Yeah.
I think you've said pretty much
Yeah.
everything.
Okay.
Yeah, I haven't been on stage for a long time. I went into academia and just became a bookworm for a little while, and
Yeah.
then I came back home, and I was like, I need to get back on stage. Actually, there was one day I went to watch a show, and 10 people asked me, "So when are you getting back on stage? So when are we going to see this? So when are we gonna-"
That was the
That's
And
best.
then I was
awesome.
like,
Yeah.
okay, all right.
Nice.
So
You're
here I
lucky.
am.
All right.
Yeah.
As usual, we usually do a quick fire.
Oh.
Just for our audience to get to know you guys a bit better.
All right.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
I hope you guys are ready for this.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. I think it's going to be very interesting.
Okay, let's see.
All right.
Guys, sorry, I'm sitting next to him. I can see all the more Kenya.
You already prepared the answers. Acha kumwonyesha sasa.
All right. One word. Okay? I need one word. What did you feel the first time you read the Wangari Maathai script that you guys are working on right now? One word. I just need one word from each of you.
One word.
Her? Wow. Like her.
You mean H-E-R or
Yeah.
H-U-H?
No, her.
Oh, okay. Because me, I had, huh? So I was like,
I was
what?
trying to make it sound like a question. Are you telling me? It didn't sound like a question.
Okay.
Yeah.
Charles?
I think for me it would be unfathomable. It's just, you can't sum it up in just one thing. It's wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Okay.
yeah.
Hence the huh?
Yeah, I know, right?
Akinyi?
Wow, I've really been trying to scaffold for a word. But I think, okay, it's not one word, sorry. But I would say, like, it's about damn time.
Ah, all right.
Yeah.
Ooh, that's a
Yeah.
nice one.
It's
That's
about
a
damn
really good
time.
one.
All right. If Wangari Maathai met any of you today, what do you think she would challenge each of you on?
I think for me personally, she would ask, have you done your part?
Ooh.
Have you done your part? Because
Yeah.
it's just the small thing that matters. Have you done it? Yeah. And every time I'm reading the script, every time I'm just imagining Wangari Maathai, I'm like, she did her part. yeah,
She really
yeah, she
did.
did her part. Yeah.
She definitely did.
Red?
The question should ask is, where's your tree? And this could be both the literal trees that you're planting and also your dream. Because a
Yeah.
tree is like a dream. So
Yeah.
where's your dream and are you chasing it? The depths of it, the extents to which it can take you.
Okay.
So yeah.
What was that?
My brain is so fried from rehearsal. Like, any thinking is just finished for the day.
What do you think
But-
she
Yeah.
would challenge you on? As Akinyi?
I think she would challenge me to tell my own story.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I've read her book Unbowed, her autobiography, and even when I read the script, it just felt so familiar. But I think she would ask, like, when are you going to tell your story?
Yeah.
It's time to tell your story. Your story too is important.
Lovely.
So yeah, I think that would be the question she would ask. I think.
Are you more like a seed, a tree, or a storm?
In life, in rehearsal?
You
No,
can
just give it to me.
specify.
Okay.
No. Just give it whichever way you.
I've made this slow fire, sorry. Atwanzi uko haya?
Tree, seed.
Yeah.
Yeah, I see it as well.
Seed.
Yeah.
I would say storm.
I also would say storm.
Able we hear your reasons.
I think I'm a ground shaker.
Come on.
No. Yeah, but I really feel that I have always been one of those kids who walks into a room and is just yeah. So if you are so dry from life, I will storm on you and you will be a little bit more, a little bit more upbeat.
Yeah.
And, so I think I would say storm.
Storm.
Yeah. And the storm waters the seeds and
Does it water the seeds or take it
You
makes
see,
acceleration happen?
If there's no soil erosion,
Yeah.
if there's no deforestation,
But that's
then
what we
it
are.
will- It's
Guys,
true.
guys,
You're right. You're right.
Have any of you ever planted a tree?
Yes.
Of course.
Have you?
Yes.
If you consider throwing those seeds of avocado planting, like on the
I
ground.
mean,
Like you just, it's ground, you're like, it's gonna grow over there. When you're in shags, you just throw them anywhere.
then that would mean then people who poop in the bushes also count then,
But that's not a tree.
That's
Mine's
not
a
a
seed.
tree.
That's not a seed. Mine's
No,
a seed.
if you've eaten let's say passion fruit and
I
you
think
go
it
and
only works
defecate in the
for
forest.
birds.
No.
For real?
Even human
Sounds like
beings.
something you've done.
How are you so familiar? What story?
Yeah. I mean, I had this passion fruit. And
So our next question.
Walisema itagrow kwa mwili, hebu tuone kama itatoka kama mti.
All right, what part of this story feels too close to today? That was a very heavy exhale.
Yeah.
All of it.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, there's
All of
all
it.
the
Everything.
All of it.
deforestation
Yeah.
happening currently.
Everything, even just women being able to speak up, like right now we're in a situation where, I don't know if I'm allowed to say this, but like the president asking a woman, are you sure you want to speak? Like,
yeah.
What do you mean?
yeah, it feels like there's certain things that we're regressing. So it feels really important to be able to tell this story because everything feels very close to home.
It
Okay.
does.
What is more powerful? Quiet resistance or loud protest?
Loud protest.
Bro, you gotta make noise.
Everybody
You
gotta
be out
know.
there.
Especially in this age of the internet,
have to do
there's
it.
so
Yeah.
much on the internet. So if you're not shouting,
Yeah.
then who's
Who
gonna know
knows?
you?
Okay. Are you guys activists just on stage or in real life as well?
Good question.
I'm an activist in my real life as well. I forgot to mention this. I have a company, Red Cinema. And my first play was Women, the Heads of Society. So I'm always championing for women being the heads wherever they are. I mean, the earth is mother, so it's only fair that mother, even on the planet, is the one who's running the show. So doing Wangari Maathai, who's also a head of her society, enviro care and all, very much an activist.
Yeah.
Silently on my own life, I guess. Yeah, I'll be like, come on, get out.
Loud protest.
Yeah.
And for you?
I feel like my activist self becomes louder when I am part of a minority group. Yeah. So I'd say like when I was studying abroad, I was a serious activist. Yeah. I was like, you gotta treat BIPOC people properly.
Yeah.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
but now I'm here, I'm like, everybody looks like me. Oh my God.
Yeah.
All right.
But yeah.
Okay, so just if we can maybe conclude swiftly with a quick fire and transition into activism, just to start off the interview. Do you ever think activism can get in the way of storytelling?
Get in the way how?
Because this is my idea about storytelling.
Okay.
I think the best directors, the best authors, the best storytellers, you know, essentially what they do is they say, here's something I have noticed about this life.
Yeah.
And then they tell a story. Activism, on the other hand, it almost kind of supersedes that, because storytelling sometimes needs to take a back seat.
Yeah.
Because obviously with activism, there are certain things that are very important or are deemed to be very important culturally. And sometimes that is what is put in front and the story takes a back burner. And we've seen it a lot in pop culture and the kinds of movies that people do. Sometimes the movie doesn't really connect with the audience, and when you read the feedback, they say, okay, it felt like they were preaching to me and they were not really telling a story. So that's why I ask, do you guys ever think activism can get in the way of storytelling?
I feel like it depends on what the cause is, right? Because we wouldn't say, like, I don't know, we watched Free Me. Free Me was not, it wasn't preaching, you know, stop gender-based violence.
Don't beat her.
But the message was there in every line, in every expression, and it was there, right? And I feel like honestly, I feel like there's some things that people need to be preached to, because we are so clouded with life, capitalism, you know, whatever is going on in your personal life, in the country, in the world, that sometimes we become so desensitized to these things. So it may feel like it's preaching, but perhaps then it's something that you have been ignoring that you actually need to do something about. So you've had it so many times, that's why it sounds like preaching. So now do something about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I think.
I also feel like it's in the writing. I mean, yeah, just how Free Me was. Also, Tukisonga is like an SRH show, but it was not preaching.
Yeah.
It was just written so well so people could relate to literally everything. And I don't think activism is bad. At the end of the day, all the stories are creating impact for change into having a better society. So it's just the writing. For me.
I think there's always a message, you know. There's always a message in anything that you watch, in anything that you see. So I think it kind of depends on what the message is and what you're driving at.
Yeah.
So I think they kind of blend in somewhere.
Yeah.
And it's just to kind of see what it is they want you to kind of see. So because at the end of the day, you will get something from what you've watched.
Yeah.
I mean, from even the simple song, you'd be like, wow, the song itself, it's talking about something, and, you know, it makes you feel something, some type of way.
Yeah.
You need to love her better.
Oh, come on. Yeah, so that's what I'd say. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, and then so that leads me to my second question, which would be, what did you guys find out about Wangari during maybe the research or the reading of the script that most people don't know about? Yeah. Is there anything that stuck out without spoiling the show?
I think for me, I look at it as like, you know, she's just a woman. Because after reading the script, going through rehearsals, I'm like, I could even think of Wangari as like my mom. You know, from day to day, she's just like what my mom does, what she's done for us, you know, and she's like, I'm like, yo, she's just a woman trying to live life, you know, trying
Just
to
a
do
girl.
it, trying to do it like any other normal woman would. Yeah, so I mean that stands out because I'm like, oh, when you hear Wangari
Anyone can
Maathai,
do
you're
it.
like, oh my gosh, it's that girl, you know. And I'm like, she's just a woman also, you know, and she wants to be treated like a woman. She wants to feel like a woman. Yeah.
So that's very interesting because there's a line from The Dark Knight Rises where the villain is basically telling the protagonist that, I'm paraphrasing, but success has defeated you, you know. And sometimes when I think about Wangari, I feel like not so defeated, but I almost feel like whatever is presented today, the icon, the legend, the Nobel laureate, I mean, you kind of forget that also, okay, this was a human being.
Yeah.
You know, and that tends to happen with so many people, Nelson Mandela.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You never really get to, and so is this going to be part of the show? Are we finally going to see Wangari in like a different light?
Absolutely.
Yeah?
For sure.
Yeah. But I think
Definitely.
also if you've read the book Unbowed, then
Yeah.
you may have a texture of what she feels like as a woman. She writes it herself.
Yeah.
But on stage and the way we portray it, the way it's written, you will see her in her
All the
full
colour.
glory.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
And you mentioned the book. Was that the primary source of research for this show?
Hiyo ni swali ya
Yeah,
researchers.
writers.
They are just but messengers of the message.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. Too early for birds. Maybe there's someone who's watching and they have no idea what Too Early for Birds is.
You want us to say what it is?
Yes.
It's a production.
Yeah,
It's
like,
a production company.
You know, like imagine I'm just the most ignorant Kenyan out there, and you know, you just want to disabuse me of my ignorance and just tell me what is Too Early for Birds.
Okay, kwanza unajua theater ni nini?
Najua.
Si drama.
Sio drama.
Si drama.
Okay. So Too Early for Birds ni nini?
Huwa tuna-tell stories za watu, watu important,
Okay.
watu wenye wamechange history ya Kenya,
Okay.
watu kama Tomboya,
Okay.
mafags wengine wa ma-90s na ma-80s huko.
You know, I said, tell it to me like I'm an ignorant person, not like I am 5, but okay. But that's
It
also,
helps.
it also works.
Yeah,
It works. Yeah, that
Sorry,
also
yeah,
works.
children. Remember when you say like I don't know, I'm like okay,
Okay, I know where to categorize you.
yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's basically a historical show. It's a storytelling show.
Yes.
It's a theater production that does professional theater and tells historical stories.
Stories.
The professional part is important.
Yeah,
Very,
very
very, very,
important.
very
Very
important.
important.
So I believe that starting in Kenya and maybe want to grow into the rest of Africa, because Africa has been misrepresented in terms of what our history is. So Too Early for Birds is actually really filling a gap
Yeah.
Yeah,
for
that's
us
true.
Africans.
Okay.
I will not say Kenyans. Africans. Yes.
I agree.
And what do you guys get from being part of such a production?
Oh my gosh. A lot of things. What do we get? We get to work with one of the most incredible directors, Martin Kigondu.
Very true.
Yeah,
Very true.
that is really exciting.
Yeah.
You know, of course, we get money, guys. We are professionals. Yeah, what do you guys get?
I think just the chance to tell the stories.
Yeah.
Honestly,
Yes.
again, I'm so passionate about what our real history is.
Yeah.
So the chance to tell this and professionally and have like a production company that is hell-bent to make sure everybody who is part of the process is okay enough to bring out their 100% in this artistry
Yeah.
is honestly such a blessing.
It's really dope because you also get to meet other like-minded people who are like, oh my gosh, we can say that. Wait, for real? And
Yeah.
it's really cool. It's really amazing. And sometimes when I personally wake up and I'm like, it's rehearsal day, I'm gonna meet those crazy people. Let's do this
Yeah.
in a good way.
Okay.
Yeah. Everyone on that cast is definitely like
Yeah.
index one.
Love that.
So Wangari fought for the environment, democracy, and women's rights.
Yeah.
Which of those themes feels most urgent in Kenya today, and why? Environment, democracy, and women's
Trees,
rights.
trees, trees, trees.
That's the most important. for you.
Trees.
Why would you say that?
Because of the Singapore in Nairobi right now,
Yeah.
literally I feel like this was the one thing she was really trying to have Kenya not go through. And a few years later, I don't know how many decades later, we are deep in it, knees deep. So if we can just bring back the trees, hata huko kwa expressway tuweke hizo ma eucalyptus. Is it? Eucalyptus ni yetu kweli? No, I'm lying. I'm sorry. You see how
Zililetwa hapa
affected.
kunyonya all the water.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
for me, it's the trees.
So
Environment,
democracy, and women's rights.
I feel like they're all intertwined.
They're all intertwined because I'm actually having a hard time to pick one. I was actually thinking about democracy, and I'm like, yo, if this woman could stand against that regime at that time, nobody could say something, and time and time again she would throw herself in there, and she would get whatever she wanted.
Yes.
I'm like, this thing is really, really possible if we could have like 10 of hers, or like if we become everyone like that, yo. It's gonna be it's gonna be really, really dope. Yeah, because I feel with democracy it comes like, oh, you have rights, you have rights.
But do you really have rights?
But do you really have them? Yeah.
Do you guys believe in democracy?
Like, believe in it or believe it exists?
Yeah, you're
Because
that's a great area.
The freedoms we
question.
have are just, they are fake freedoms.
No. As a system of governance, do you
Yes.
believe that it's an actual
Yes.
system that works?
Yes.
And that it's the right one that people should be using?
I don't know if right one for who, right? Because I feel like we have been stripped away of our indigenous ways of handling communities, right? So, when during the colonial times, a lot of the men were taken out to work in different areas outside of their homes, right?
Yeah.
Who was heading those homes? It's the women, right? And then it was like, oh, harambe, and then the men come back and they're trying to, be the head of the home, and the woman is like,
I've been
hello.
here.
All right, let
We
me.
have been here for a long time.
Thank you very
So I
much.
think it depends on what is the culture of that place.
Yeah.
What is their culture of rule? What is their culture of governance? And I think that should be allowed or encouraged. So if there's a matriarchal society and that works, then sure. If it's, communism that works where, there are no brands, their phone, their water, their lip balm, everything is the same for everyone. If that works for a particular community, then it should. So we shouldn't have certain superpowers saying that this is the way that your country should be ruled.
Okay, let me challenge that.
Yeah.
Traditionally, at least the very brief history that my parents, great grandparents kind of shared.
Yeah.
A lot of our communities were structured in almost like a council of elders, and then everyone is under the council of elders.
Yes.
Yeah. So basically, it didn't say that everyone has a right or a vote to determine who gets to lead us. And
But
that
who
was
is right in the ear of those councils? Is it not the women rubbing their bellies?
Wait, let me just finish. let me
Rubbing
finish
their bellies,
the question. So you see, traditionally, most African societies were very socialist oriented.
Okay.
Yeah. But we are now in a space where, because we live in urban cities and most of the place is urbanized, and even if it's not urbanized because of the internet, the world is a global village. Democracy offers that, offers a voice for everyone. Right now, Tukokadi, I hope we're Ukokadi. Everyone is saying Tukokadi because, everyone believes in my voice actually counts. So that's why it's surprising to hear that some of you are not so sure about democracy, even though Wangari herself believed in it and fought for it, right?
But who told us that our voice didn't matter in the first place, right? And I feel like even with the Council of Elders, perhaps that was not the attitude of your voice doesn't matter, right? Because even with when when women weren't sort of allowed to vote and et cetera, there were, let's say, men who would listen to their wives and say, me and my household, we have decided this is what is happening.
Yeah.
So I feel like if we had the culture of way before the colonialists, way before our men were forced to go into war and taught a different type of life when they would actually listen to the people around them, right? So if your wife now, as you guys are going to bed and he's like, tomorrow is the council of elders, we are meeting, what issues are there that you have that I can go and present, and she trusts that her man will be able to go and present those things. But also that's utopian and in an ideal world. And maybe I'm also just romanticizing this, but I definitely believe that everybody's voice is important. Even the children, the children who are fighting for a playground. Those children's voices are important. You are about to say that?
No, I was about to say my lines.
It's like auto cue. The children in the So I think that's really important, that each voice is listened to. If the children are saying they cannot wake up at 5 a.m. to be in their bus with their two little bags, going to school before the sun has risen. It's too much.
Yeah. A lot of how life is right now is really what the colonizer left for us. And history has shown, if you've done your research, that however communal Kenya was or Africa was, it made sure the environment was taken care of, people were taken care of, like everything was in balance with nature and with people. So the democracy is when we go back to our roots and find out, how they did it before the colonizer came and gave us boarding schools, etc.
Okay. I mean, I want to push back a little bit there.
Okay, whose side are you on?
No, it's just, I think that's the best way to have interesting conversations. But for the sake and interest of time, unfortunately, we have to go on a short break.
I'm Ogopa.
And no, okay, before we go on a short break.
You can't let it go.
Yeah, I have done a tiny bit of reading.
Of course you have.
Tiny.
And, I'm not, obviously, no one likes the colonizer and what they did to us. The worst thing.
Not enough, though.
Yeah, the worst thing that they did to us was take away our culture and our language. That's the worst thing, in my opinion, that you can do to our people. Because then that cuts you off from your history. However, before the white man stepped foot in this side of the continent, before there were even borders calling us a country called Kenya, the space was still rife with inter-community fights. There were some communities that this was just part of their culture. They would just do raids. There are some cultures that were just... There were some cultures that were just farmers.
I'm waiting for the question.
And historically, maybe till today, I'm not sure if it's the Nandi people. Some of them still have this pastoralic culture of just herding their cattle. And whenever they see someone who has more cattle who they believe they shouldn't have, they just go and take it. So obviously, it's not to say that what the colonizers brought here was good or what they did was good. But it also just gives us the perspective of, for a group of people with so many differences to ever be able to come together, they need to be able to agree on something. And I think democracy gives us that at least one good excuse to agree on, okay, for the sake of democracy, for the sake of there being peace and we can all push towards one direction, then let's do this thing.
That thing they were doing was control. So the reason why they brought all this order that we think they brought and it's to make sure and put us in school uniform so that we're all the same. It's so that when they tell us back, go there, give us your gold, you'll give us your gold. In our cultures, the way the Kikuyu were, whatever, everybody was able to maintain their own culture, and there's nothing wrong with me not wanting to be Maasai or whatever. And in any case, I feel that even the information that you read, I don't know about Nandi, honestly, we've heard about all those FGM and everything they keep on doing. But I feel in the deep whatever of my heart that this violence to human beings came after they introduced violence to us.
For the interest of time, we will go on a short break.
It's gonna be a long one.
And when we come back,
Hopefully
hopefully we can transition onto a much lighter.
Hey, this is too early for birds.
Hey, what do you expect?
History on steroids.
We will be right back after this short break. Welcome back to Cast on Q. I wish you guys were here for the outtakes. Because the conversations. Anyways, again, thank you guys so much for being here in studio.
Such an honor.
I won't take too much of your time, maybe 3 or 4 more questions before you guys plug us to where we can get our tickets for Too Early for Birds. We are here talking about Too Early for Birds, the Wangari Maathai edition, which will be on stage April 10th. To
Good.
the 12th, not 9th. Before we went on a short break, we were talking about democracy, but let's just change pace a bit. Do you think there's ever a danger of sanitizing our heroes when we put them on stage?
What do you mean by sanitize?
Sanitizing.
Like just showing one side
Yeah,
of
this.
them?
I have an example, but it's such
It's your
It's
copy.
controversial
It's
example.
okay.
But
It's
okay.
I am
That's the
I am
only-
amongst
Safe space.
Just
a safe
go
space.
ahead.
Yeah. Good example would be Nelson Mandela.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Truly iconic human being. His feats of bravery and courage and forgiveness, I think, haven't really been displayed by many people who've been alive. However, he did also.
He was a terrible dad. He wasn't there.
That's one thing,
Okay.
you know, and. For the longest time, I would read about Nelson Mandela being on the terrorist watch list, of course, by the Europeans, and I would always dismiss it as that's just CIA nonsense. But then when you actually read about it, there was a lot of necklacing and a lot of brutal torture of people who either sympathized with the apartheid regime. And this is what got Nelson Mandela on that list, because apparently there is actual documented proof that he was involved in some of these things. And so you see, even after his death, we don't really get to ever hear that side of his struggle, where sometimes the fight kind of got murky and I had to jump into the pigsty to fight the pigs. And so that's why I asked the question, you know, because a lot of times this is obviously a posthumous staging about someone who existed.
Yeah.
And we tend to sanitize our heroes. We're just like, oh, those things they did badly or they didn't really have good judgment. We don't want to hear those things.
Yeah.
Do you think there's ever a danger of doing that with our stories?
Maybe it's also a reflection of our society, right? You find when someone dies, they say only the good things, right? They don't say the stuff that they did that was wrong or how they hurt people or, you know, if Nelson Mandela was being celebrated as this cultural icon, you know, as somebody who fought for South Africans to be free. But then you see the other side where, let's say, he was not there for his family and whatnot.
Yeah.
Because I also think about Wangari and her children, right? Like, the things that they were going through. And I mean, I'm really going to preach about this book, guys. Go and look for it.
Unbound.
Like, yeah, the first page, she dedicates the book to her children because she knows the hardships that her children went through while she was in and out of jail.
Yeah.
Her divorce being publicized, tangazo, they have separated, you know, very unnecessary things. And so perhaps it's a cultural thing that we do. It's like, you know, somebody's flaws, and something that is also said in Islam, you don't expose your brother's flaws. You don't expose your brother's sins, right? So maybe it's a cultural thing. What do you guys think?
So I didn't know. I'm actually finding out about him not being a present dad and him doing what to sympathizers of apartheid.
Necklacing. It's basically what we Kenyans do to mob justice victims.
Oh.
Yeah, where you put tire around their neck.
That's
and fill it
necklacing.
with
That's crazy.
petrol.
But these are guys who are
Light
like
them.
okay with apartheid.
This is why, you know, yes, for sure. But
I mean,
when you read about what people have written about necklacing,
Yeah.
it is one of the worst things you can do to a human being.
I can imagine.
Exactly.
I can
You know.
imagine.
And so when you think about it, hey, Nelson Mandela was okay with people, you know, even if they were, you know, sympathizers of the apartheid regime, at what point do you say, okay, I'm not going to turn into my oppressor
Yeah.
just so that I can fight them?
There's this conversation we were having with Martin, and we were going back and forth of, does the end justify the means? I mean, if they used this means to
Yes.
do this, then of course I'm going to have to make up some ways
Yes,
to...
and it should be said, sorry for interrupting, it should be said that the apartheid regime were just as brutal, if not more. That goes without saying,
Yeah, so to that extent, I'll just play devil's advocate, and I'm like, he had to do what he had to do. But about being but also you're fighting for the rest of the what is it called, the country.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, the kids will have to go what they'll have to go through, but at that point where that's all you can fight for, and your purpose is not to your kids, really, it's to your life. And for him, it was to fight for the independence that he felt South Africa needed. And also there's that media, as it is now, is everything the European man has made it to be. So we don't have enough information to vindicate our people who struggled, and also to, you know, point the right fingers to the right people. So I usually just tread carefully. I'm just like, but kama ni wabaya ni wabaya.
It feels like an Old Testament, New Testament kind of.
That's where I was headed.
Okay, Charlie, the
Sorry,
Bible is
take-
Torah.
No, tell us.
about the Bible.
That's exactly where I was headed, because I remember this passage.
Chapter.
So this passage from scripture, you know, where Christ is like,
Oh my
you
God,
know,
you're serious.
I'm serious. I'm okay. Anyway,
No, say it.
so Christ is like, you wicked people. You know, he calls them wicked and says, God is going to give you these things, you know, because he wants to give them to you because he's great and because he's good. But even you being a bad person, you wouldn't give your child a stone to eat, you know. So I'm like, there are human beings. We are all human beings at the end of the day. And then you'll have your good side, you'll have your bad side, you'll have your flaws, and you'll have the times where you're like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, what, Nelson Mandela? Really? Like when he died, the whole planet of Africa stopped. You know what I'm saying? You know? And it's get to realize that this person is a human being. And if I was in his shoes, I would look for those people.
Charlie, the Bible explorer.
I wouldn't per se maybe necklace them, but I'd
You'll
put
find
them in
means.
jail. I'll find means.
Yeah, so I ask about the sanitization of our heroes because why should someone come watch Too Early for Birds, Wangari Maathai, when they can just read Unbowed?
Oh, sweetie, you'd be reading on your own and you would miss out on this amazing energy.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, I think I would say, even just as a drama therapist, there is power in embodied storytelling.
Yeah.
Even for us, there is something that is happening within us as we're preparing to tell the story on stage.
Yeah.
And it'll be a very different experience now when the audience is now experiencing. We've said these lines like so many times.
Yeah.
So when they then experience how we're saying it, what we're saying, the lights, the costumes, that they will feel like they are living in Wangari's world, which is the whole point.
yeah. And I feel like theater as an art form is like, zile times kulikuwa na fireplace and everybody comes to have the story. I feel like Africa really pioneered theater,
So
because
it's a communal experience.
and that's how socialism was kitambo. So this is you want to be there, god
Yeah.
damn.
Again, I will also ask about the nuances because your responses have obviously made it a bit obvious, correct me if I'm wrong, that there's nuance to Wangari's story in the way it's being told in this Too Early for Birds edition. Yeah.
Absolutely.
So there's definitely nuance, and we're not just gonna be there like kind of like reading a story for like,
This is theater, baby.
exactly, yeah.
It's
so
different.
So it's definitely different.
Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
there's no sanitization.
Also, it's
Girl, Moi publicized her whole public life to everyone.
For
What
everyone
is
to
there to hide?
exactly.
Nothing.
Yeah.
And I think it's just coming to see this is a literal normal person
Yes.
anywhere
Yeah.
who decided to stick so strongly with what she believed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the thing she believed in impacts so many people, not just the people in Hither. It's the rest of Kenya, Africa, the world.
Yeah.
So it's kujo jione we kama individual, mali uko, mali ulizaliwa, you can do the freaking most.
And the more I read the script, the more I think of the person Wangari Maathai. It's not like she was like, oh, I'm gonna do this, and then I'm gonna reach this level,
Chant
and
the
then I'm gonna
waters.
do this, and then the water's gonna
Nikujipata.
divide, and then I'm gonna be the person. It's like I'm doing this because I want this. She wasn't even thinking about other things. She was just like, maendeleo wanawake. This is what the women want. Just give us trees
They
to
need
plant,
this.
and that's all.
Yeah.
Just give me this, and that's all. You just find yourself in that, and then the light comes like, oh, who is she?
It is a global issue.
Yeah, I mean,
Ooh.
So it's not like she wanted to be like, she had even wrote it down.
The
that
world will know me.
5-year plan. By 5 years, the world is going to know me. No,
Yeah.
it's just like, they can't do this. This is not good.
I
I'm
saw
gonna teach
trees
them.
as a kid. Where are the trees now?
Yeah.
So this was definitely something that was thrust upon her. It wasn't really something that, I'm trying to win a Nobel Peace Prize.
No.
Absolutely.
It's not-
She was trying to get degrees.
Yeah.
and She's a biologist.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you want someone to walk out of the theater hall feeling, or what do you want them to do differently after watching this show?
Martin asked us this question.
He
did.
did.
Yeah.
We're just
Fancy
wondering.
hustle.
And for me, there's a certain clip we watched when we were doing the research and everything. There's a certain clip we watched from Wangari Maathai talking about the hummingbird, and I was like, yo.
Oh my goodness.
I was like, it has never left my mind, because she was like telling the story, and then it's a little bird, and
bringing
the
water.
elephant has a big trunk, but you can get water to put the forest fire out, but he's watching, and this little bird with her small beak anachota tu maji akipelekanga until moto izime. So like, if after the show, personally for me, even after it, even right now, and to when the audience come and watch the show, I'd be like, you as an individual, what is it that you can do where you are?
Lovely.
Where you are standing. So
Yeah.
that's it. That's the takeaway point.
Yeah.
For me, it's that everybody in the hall, because this is what I personally feel, don't see a difference between them and trees.
Yeah.
If they cut down trees, then it means trees are not existing. Then it means your space to exist is also being taken away.
Yeah.
So take care of every tree, plant as much as you can, and do not let the government do what they want to do.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was actually going to say the
You
hummingbird.
Say it.
Yeah, but I I feel that if you have that little thing that you're
Yeah.
doing, shout about it, tell people about it. Don't be afraid. You know, there's something that Wangari definitely wasn't, is
Yeah.
afraid.
Yeah.
She was very fearless. You know,
Yeah.
the number of times she was jailed, her divorce being publicized,
And
you
she's
know.
smiling in all those photos.
Yeah. And, you know, the president just speaking terrible things about you. And she kept going. She didn't care.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She was like, children are malnourished because you're cutting trees and there's soil erosion. We are planting cash crops until the doorstep is just chai, kahawa, kahawa, kahawa. When she grew up in a place where we had, you know, now it's fancy to have a kitchen garden. But in those days, like in her childhood, there was nduma, ngwashe, all the greens that you
Yeah.
need right outside your doorstep.
Yeah.
And so I think that we need to go back to remembering whatever our little thing is that we can do in our community. You know, I imagine this for you, Cast on Cue is your little thing, right?
Yeah.
And so I'm assuming, guy, it could be something else, but you
It
know,
is.
Yeah, and you're doing well with it. You're shouting about it.
Yeah.
And so if each one of us, even in this room, if each one of us can pick that one thing, that little thing that we know, we can be able to put out the fire of what is happening in the world, what is happening in our country, what is happening in your own household, in your own community.
Yeah.
You're hearing GBV happening across just next door, and you're like, not my business, right? So what can we do for our community? How can we shout about things and be fearless?
Yeah.
Love it.
As we come to a close, recently, Ololua, Akarura Forest, just to mention a few,
Yeah.
have been under threat. I know the government has said they are halting the development that was going on in Karura. Whether they mean it, of course, this was obviously because of the public outcry when Friends of Karura started communicating what's actually going on in these forests. Do you think Too Early for Birds, Wangari Maathai edition is going to make any difference to people's attitude towards the forest and protecting it? Because I will tell you this, personally, I never felt a thing for trees until I actually went to a forest for the first time.
Ooh, I love that.
Yeah, for most of my life, they were just there. Like this camera that is standing here. Yes, it's just a tree. And then you go to a forest and you walk with no music on. And I'm sorry, but even psychologists can't compare to what just a walk in the forest
Yeah.
can do for just like your mental health.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I think we're still struggling with that as a nation because even with Karura Forest, not enough people are raising their voices. Wangari Maathai, I mean, we've watched, most of us who are millennials or who are born much later.
Okay. Wow. Wow.
Like we saw,
see what you
I
did to me?
remember very distinctly a news clip of Wangari and there was blood trickling from her head. There were cops around her and they were just like baying for blood. And her fearless courage of just standing in front of them. And she didn't have a crowd the way we had a crowd when we decided to protest against the finance bill. She was just like herself and maybe 2-3 people. And she was still fearlessly saying, what I'm trying to do here is not just good for me, it's good for everyone.
Yeah.
Karura and all the remaining forests in Nairobi are the lungs of this beautiful city of ours. And still, I still don't see enough of, public participation when these things are happening to our forests. So do you think Too Early for Birds is going to inch the scale a bit?
Absolutely. I absolutely think it will.
Yeah.
I think we also don't understand the interconnectedness of You spoke about the importance, the therapeutic importance of the trees. The trees won't speak back to you, so they won't call out your bullshit. But it is a therapeutic experience, but there is also an immense interconnectedness when it comes to food security and deforestation, soil erosion, floods. There are lots of people who've lost their homes. You've come home, your entire house is flooded. If you still have those old parquet floors, everything is gone. Right? And these are the direct effects. Right? So we are here like, oh, Sakaja, Sakaja, Sakaja. Really, what we should be doing is pushing for the education system to have, like, even if it's a whole subject on just environment, so that we understand that once you cut off a tree, there are so many other ripple effects that we may not see immediately, but that are
eventually
consequentially happening.
Yeah, I feel this is too early for birds. The story of the hummingbird, this is their hummingbird. They're doing what they can to stop this fire. And also, I don't know if this answers your question or I'm just digressing. I feel it's that over time what has happened, and this is effects, again, I'm always going to blame the colonizer for everything. They cut down everything so that us as Upper Nairobi, people don't know about trees, like you said, and I'm assuming this happened in your adult years. Yeah. So many people don't know about trees. See, they're not even around them. I mean, go to Islando, where all this Kibera, there are literally no trees there. So if people, more Africans, more of us Kenyans could go to Ushago, napewa to Ushago, asitoke Ushago, they should be educated that, bruh, you live there, they'll come and take that land. They'll be the tallest building now in Kisumu or I don't know where. So the education again of the environment, especially in all over Africa, because we're a tropical region. We are everything the soil is, everything the soil is giving us. So if there's more emphasis on that and not uko nitaenda if I want to go for advancement and things like those. But I already got the basic nutrients and whatever from my country, from my home.
Okay.
Yeah, I was with my friend in town and we happened to pass through Uhuru Park, and then I just told him something. I said, bro, unajua saizi hapa kumekuwa na statue ya Moi manze. Tungekuwa tu tunapita tu hivi tunaona tu Moi. And he's like, why did that happen? Because
why did that?
And I'm like, yo, you don't know? Like you really don't know? Yeah. And I'm like, every time now I'm so conscious of every green I see in the city. I'm like, wow. I really treasure this. I really value it because looking at it from a distance, because I felt, nakumbuka nikiwa shule, si mbali sana. maybe that's why. Girl, come on. so I remember we were taught that Nairobi is the only capital city that has a game reserve, national park inside of it. And I felt so proud. I was like, that's amazing. Like, we're the only one. And coming back to Wangari and focusing on how she said, like, she grew up, the streams was there. It had pure water running through it,
Ngare was just next to the Mugumo tree.
And then when she goes to school, she goes and furthers her studies. That's the memory she has. And she comes back and she's like, what happened to the river? It's dried up. And she could see the future of what it could happen. Because sometimes I even ask myself, wow, this Nairobi River pia imejaribu. I'm like, you still here, man? If I were you,
I'm gonna be out.
If I were you,
All right.
y'all don't need my water? Okay, I'm a bounce.
I really enjoy the conversation. Just before I let you guys go, I have been a part of a few editions of Too Early for Birds. I am going to talk about the criticisms.
Okay.
And ask you if you guys have...
We haven't been paid yet.
No.
Very important to me.
This one criticism I received for all the shows I have been part of.
Okay.
With Too Early for Birds. They said the show, all of the shows that I've been part of, none has ever been under 3 hours. So, what's the runtime for this edition?
It's about 3 hours. It
So-
was longer.
Yeah.
Yeah, if
And
we
they
had time.
Yeah.
Not
They
even
count.
6
Yeah.
hours.
Yeah.
Yeah, but definitely trying to. Martin has done an incredible job
Yeah.
trying to chop things,
Yeah.
mix and match things, so
Yeah.
that everything is sort of encompassed
Yeah.
in it without us losing
Yeah.
Yeah.
too much. Yeah.
Yeah, but that's the thing also with Tuali for Buzz because it's a storytelling thing. I don't know that it would be the same experience if it wasn't over 2.5 hours,
Yeah.
all the editions that I've been part of.
Yeah.
And for most part, the audiences are always into it.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yes.
no one walks out for like, Isho konya ishi.
I need to go.
Yeah.
No one does that. Oftentimes,
entertaining.
people are still streaming in even before the show concludes. So this is not to discourage anyone, but just come knowing that there will be an intermission.
Absolutely.
The second criticism, which I remember at the time, I really kind of fell out with this person after they said that to me. But the criticism was, I think Tuali for Birds is too woke for me.
Woke.
Yes.
Go read a book.
Somebody told you that?
Yes.
You see, those are the people who need to be preached to.
I mean,
No, wait,
Exactly.
wait.
Wanahitaji a whole unit kwa environment.
So this, for anyone who's never
never
watched,
heard the
because I realized that it wasn't just him who thought that. And I realized the people who thought that keep saying that to more people out there. So I want you guys to set the record straight.
I feel
Yes.
that's conditioning.
No.
Propaganda.
I'm like,
That's the thing because I was just like, why? And they were
Those are
like,
844 exam.
I feel like,
You
oh,
read
Eh.
and you go and regurgitate.
Exactly.
But then when you're told to think and to,
Question,
introspect,
challenge.
Yes.
you're just like, it's too
Show
much, it's too much.
difference.
My nervous system
Right.
cannot.
so that's the thing. I think there are people who, for the sake of the grapevine, are not really wanting to engage with Tuali for Birds because they're like, hey, it sounds a bit too woke for me. And I don't think Tuali for Birds is that. And as someone who's been a part of it, I don't think it is that at
Yeah.
all.
Yeah.
So I just need you guys to set the record straight before you guys give me your final Nini. Please tell us why it's for everyone. Whether you tend to be on the leaning conservative, or you tend to be leaning as a liberal, or you just don't care, or you have no ideology. This is a show for everyone.
Gielimisha, man. Just come for the show.
knowledge is power.
Yes.
It's really, really powerful.
Of all the things you were told to know, you need to know
Yeah.
this as your Bible. This is why we're here. It's our history.
That's
Yeah.
true. The education system didn't do y'all well,
It
so we are
didn't.
here for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. If you want to know Kenya better,
Come and watch the
Tuali
show.
for Birds got
Thank
you.
you.
Yeah. Guys, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you
for
for having
having
us.
us.
Thank you
That
for
was-
having us.
That was a lot of fun,
pleasure.
especially the outtakes.
Yeah, we put you on the hot seat.
We're going to create a members only
Yeah.
just for the outtakes.
Subscribe on Patreon.
Because those are very. Anyways, all right. Before I let our guests go, we have a fun segment, true or false segment. So if you reach beneath your seats, you will find a clipboard, a piece of paper.
I thought that was a lie.
Okay.
All right. Let's go. So yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So you can just flash your true or your
Okay.
false to any of the following statements. All right. First segment, we're talking about the industry and actors. All right.
Yeah.
All right. True or false? Kenyan actors are too afraid to be political. True, false.
You guys don't hear Ruto. Ruto must go everything or every theater show you go and watch it. That you hear it. One time,
That's because we are masses.
And they're not coming in the theaters.
Yes, and many people don't actually
It won't happen
embrace
online.
it in their brands.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
I see.
basically the content that they're sharing, they tend to.
Okay.
Yeah.
So like in their personal life.
All right.
Yeah, it's not.
Most actors would take a well-paying role, even if it goes against their values.
Oh my God. I don't know.
True.
The word is most.
Okay.
Yeah, it's most.
I think when I was young, yeah, but now I'm.
So it's
grown.
false for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Me,
I
I'm
think-
answering for people.
For
It's not for me.
It's not for me. Most
If it is for me-
most actors do it.
Yeah.
I have. I have done that before.
Yeah.
I did that, I feel like, when I was younger. The older I became, I was
How's
just
the
like...
feeling? How does it feel
No,
after,
this is how people are going to perceive me like this. I'm too grown for that.
I mean, sometimes it's more. I don't really want to get in front of the story. So let me just do my role. You know, if it's just about saying these lines for the sake of this story and their values,
So be it.
so be it.
I think when I did it, I just realized when I'm able to, like, I have money, I'll just be like, yeah, this, I can't say no.
Okay.
Yeah.
True or false? Theatre in Kenya is still elitist.
It's still.
No, not anymore.
Yeah.
I totally agree. But
Yeah.
the colonial history is very...
It's terrible.
Yeah. We hide behind the script instead of taking responsibility for what we perform.
Ooh.
True or false?
Yeah. That's true.
Wait,
We-
did I not understand the question?
We hide behind the script instead of taking responsibility for what we perform. Ooh, this, you see this?
That's
This
bold.
is a whole podcast waiting to just be
This
had.
is bold.
That question. That question.
Able
Yeah.
to study
No,
bank.
it's-
We shall debunk what you
Hide
guys
behind
mean.
the
Yeah,
script.
I think it's easier to hide behind the script
Yeah.
because
Mostly.
it
It's
kind of
easy
falls
enough.
it kind of falls into the previous question where most actors will take a well-paying if it goes against their values. Sometimes you just hide behind the script because you're like, yeah, the values, you know, it might be nini. But mi nilikuwa nasema tu lines
Kizungu
zangu.
ilikuja na mimi.
Yeah. Like how many people probably in the cast have been to Karura? Something like that.
Now I get it.
Yeah.
Playing real
Country,
people.
Sorry.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Playing real people is more about performance than truth. True or false? Playing real people is more about performance than truth.
The wind is like, no.
True.
Yeah.
Tell me why.
Well,
It's more about the performance than truth for you.
because I played JM karaoke once, and I'm like, you know, it's just like being her. You know, it's not about leaving it, like being it. Because at the second time when I sat down, I was like, was I really truthful to that? I mean, if he was here, would he be like, what, or did I do the guy justice? Did I say everything right? But you know, mostly it was like trying to imagine it and trying to bring out a performance, a whole show about it.
Okay.
So that's why I'm saying it's kind of like true-ish. Yeah, it's true.
Okay, next segment, story or history. True or false? Kenyan history is watered down to make people comfortable.
In bold.
Moving on. We celebrate heroes like Wangari more in death than we supported them in life.
Oh.
Very true, and indeed very sad.
Yeah.
Stories, true or false? Stories like this only reach people who already agree with them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think so.
It's true, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that information will reach you if you're ready for it.
What do you think we can do to reach across the aisle of the people who don't agree?
Just the loud protests. Sasa wasiposikia, it's not on us.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Theatre doesn't actually change anything. It just makes us feel like it does.
It sounds like that friend of yours. I mean,
Yeah, the one who is not woke enough.
So all of you agree?
Yeah.
Great. I'm also in agreement. Kenyan audiences prefer entertainment over truth.
Hey. Me last weekend.
Kabisa.
I don't know. I don't know about that, but it's not about me. Wangari activism and conservation. True or false? Environmental activism in Kenya is still dangerous today.
Is it still?
Dangerous. today. Environmental
Oh, you
activism.
get into trouble with the government. Oh,
And
No
even
one
if it's
wants
not
to
the
be
government.
picked up with by a
to be
Subaru.
abducted.
Yes, it's true. There's someone in Karura who was trying to just do their own investigation with their bike. And even just passing there, he had to hide his camera because there was like a guy who was already looking at him for like,
Oh.
unapiga pizza?
Oh.
You know, and so, and even right now, I was in Karura a few days ago. It's changing. You know, like we need to do more.
Yeah.
We need to do more because it's such a huge forest and many people don't know how big it is. So when people start encroaching, you don't really know how much encroachment is happening until you actually go into Karura and walk around and people show you, okay, so this side is... Anyways, planting trees is the easiest part of Wangari's work. The hard part is challenging power. True or false?
Very true.
Most of us care about the environment only when it affects us directly. If Wangari Maathai was
See it.
She was starting today.
if Wangari Maathai was starting today, she would struggle to be heard.
For real.
She would need a whole social media team, first of all.
She'd need to do content sometimes.
Yeah.
Tungekuwa na the youngins, kwani the kids.
Corporates care more about looking... Wait, before we move on to the next one. That question, I tend to actually disagree.
Yeah.
Think about Bridgerton and Mrs. Whistledown.
I have not watched that show.
Talk to us.
Shame. So they have one newspaper.
Yeah,
One newspaper. And that is all you will read and hear. Right now, please go and ask a 14-year-old the last time they read a newspaper.
No, if she was
No,
starting
if she
today.
was starting her
Yes.
environmental activism today,
She would
you don't think
not-
she would get like
Social media is everywhere.
so many
You
people?
guys don't think there's so much clouding and things,
Because
so many
because
things
because
everywhere?
during the Moi era,
Yeah.
there was one or maybe two
Yeah,
stations.
Maybe at most.
You get.
Yeah.
And right now, there's proliferation
TikTok
of digital
would,
content.
in
There's
fact, TikTok ingekuwa the main.
there's Instagram.
They wouldn't make AI deepfakes of her saying other things.
Sasa-
I mean,
They can't fight her like
it's a hard
that.
thing
They'll
to
have
actually
to,
kind
yeah.
of...
Corporate-
China is on our side.
Corporates care more about looking sustainable than actually being.
Pardon, sorry, I didn't get that.
Corporates care more about looking sustainable than actually being sustainable.
Absolutely.
Because the companies are not from Kenya or Africa anyway.
Yeah.
Yes, they're not.
And conservation tends to be big business and it's so murky in terms of you don't really know what the business format is,
Yeah.
how are you guys
collaboration.
making money. And I think a lot needs to be done
Yeah.
to change that because
sure.
most people hear it and they're just like, why are we only seeing white people? And it's not because just like Makinyi said, like conservation is about food security.
Yeah.
It's about so much more than just trees and these spaces that are indigenous. And that brings us to the end. Thank you so very much.
Thank you.
Awesome.
So please, I just need you guys to plug yourselves individually. Tell us about Too Early for Birds, when it is, how we can get their tickets. So first, give me your parting shot, and then your socials, and then Too Early for Birds, and where you can get your tickets.
Okay, those are many things. You can get your tickets on Mook. Mook.com.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then
And then parting shot.
the show is on April 10th to 12th. I thought we already said our parting shots.
Yes, and as a psychologist and a practicing teacher, where
Okay.
can people find you? Maybe there's someone out there who's really liked how you speak to 5-year-old Brian Ogola. And they would like to engage you on your services. So where can guys find you?
Yes, you can find my artist page, Queen Akinyi, on on Instagram. And my therapist page is Your Creative Therapist, or you can also search for my name. You'll find me on Psychology Today, and you can read a little bit more about my services as a drama therapist, and also working with children on set. If you have a movie or a film or a series that you're working on, I work with kids. And so that would be great to be in touch with me. Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you.
Red?
Beautiful. I'm Red Brenda on all social media pages. That's my artistic page. For my company, both theater and film, it's Red Cinema. For anybody who wants to get into storytelling in theater and film, and you want to, challenge the norm, Twali for Bads kind of thing. But mine's a creative rehab, So yes, if that's for you, come, let's do it.
Damn.
Damn.
Damn, y'all do all that kind of stuff. Yeah. Yo, man, it's been amazing to be here. You can get me as Charlie the Bible Explorer everywhere. Yeah, if you want to have some good Bible humor, Bible comedy, all of it. Yeah, Charlie the Bible Explorer, it is.
Your one-man show?
Oh, yeah. Oh, my goodness. Y'all, if you haven't watched this, I don't know where you're living. Yeah. It's a 25-character one-man show, Charlie the Bible Explorer. And, stick around. We might just do it again. Yeah. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you guys so much for being here. When was the last time you went to a forest? There are, I think, more than 2 in the city. And sometimes the only thing you can do to support these forests is just by going there, because they charge a very small fee for entrance. And I think when it comes to the story of the hummingbird, I think going to a forest, actually appreciating these spaces, could be our hummingbird act in terms of just making ourselves more aware, making ourselves more involved in conservation, especially of our forests. People are constantly trying to get into these forests, and I think we need to do more as Kenyans, as people, to save these spaces. Please get your tickets for Too Early for Birds, the Wangari Maathai edition, and go and learn something new, see something differently. It's going to be on stage April 10th to the 12th. Please get your tickets on mook.com, correct?
Yeah.
Yes. And always remember that it's all on us. It's not just on Wangari. She's no longer here with us. The little that she did needs to inspire many more generations ahead of us. So please be involved with your environment and not just the forests. Don't litter. Don't do any of those backward things that hurt our environment. Thank you so much for watching the show. This has been Cast on Q. My name is Brian Ogola. Thank you for watching Cast on Q. This platform exists to create a serious space for actors to talk about the craft, the business, and the realities of building a sustainable career in Kenya's film industry. Follow Cast on Q across all our social media platforms for episode clips, behind-the-scenes content, and updates on any upcoming conversations. If you're an actor out there, join the Kenya Actors Guild by scanning the QR code on our screens right now. And if you would like to support this platform through sponsorship or a partnership, our email is in the description below. If you want to help us with crowdfunding, the different support tiers are on the screen and in the description below. Cast on Q is community powered. See you all in the next episode.